At the start of the story, there is a man with horns sitting on the throne. His name is Kim Jangcheol, an ordinary graduate school student from Korea. Well, at least, he used to be. 'Cause yesterday, he suddenly became the Demon King Kratos, the final boss of the game he liked playing. Well, that's a common story. I mean, bro is not the first person to be sent to a game. Anyway. The aim of the game, Paladin of Blood, which he used to play, was to revive the ancient hero who had fallen asleep. The MC decides to spare us the details, cause telling us something like that would not even help. Bottom line, bro is stuck in a game he doesn't want to be in, and as the Demon King no less. His aide, Zephyros, a level 15 demon, addresses the Demon King, Lord Kratos, and tells him that all preparations for the war has been completed. And that the army is waiting for his command. All the demons are excitedly waiting, and one of the generals of the army, the Prince Vampire, Azurat, who is level 534, is trying to hype up the crowd by telling them their starvation will end with today's great invasion. Their tragedy of being born in a barren land. The pain of having to eat their kind will end today. 'Cause they will make history that will last. They will rip the humans apart. Crush the elves and turn them all into their food. We see the other generals, the Cold Monarch Sergei, level 531, the Archduke of Fog Hartok, level 555, and the Black Boulder Tyrant Ball, level 539, just aura farming among the demons. The Demon King and his aide arrive to give the final command. Kratos yells out, for the demon army to listen up. The place becomes silent, and as everyone listens attentively, Kratos thinks to himself that this war must be stopped at all costs. He declares to the demon army that he, Kratos, orders all of the demon folk, from now on, they will stop their attack. And start farming. The demon generals stand there speechless at the words the Demon King just spoke. But some seconds later, they angrily yell out, "That's absurd." Kratos, with a scarier look on his face, becomes afraid of how scary they look. Bro, if you want to talk about scary, look no further than the mirror. 'Cause the four generals also get scared by him. Kratos knows that if they start this war, the playable character, aged Kimchi, level 9990, will come and he will die by his hands. The system pops up and informs the player that his 20th playthrough has started. Flashback to Kim Jangcheol before he was sent to the game world. He was a graduate student in a farming course at Korea University in hopes of becoming a rich farmer. He was clever, so he became the top student of his course in no time. But being the top student was not a good thing. Some lecturers approached him to write their thesis for them because he was so clever. Others wanted him to help them with their projects, because he was so good at doing it. Some even asked him to plow the fields. Okay, now these lecturers are trippin'. Bro felt like he was their number one slave. Honestly, that is exactly what people do to others who do not speak up for themselves, they overuse them. All these activities leave the MC exhausted. He keeps thinking about what life he is living. Why is he doing all the work when the professors are the ones getting the credit? He starts crashing out, yelling that he wants to kill all those annoying professors. At this point, bro's dopamine was depleted. He was going crazy. And the only way to get his dopamine boost was to play games. I mean, that is not the only way, I can at least think of one other way. If you catch my drift, leave a like for the video. Back to the story, a game that was super difficult to level up in. No player had cleared this game for 19 times. He wanted to feel a sense of achievement so badly that he turned on his PS5 and played a game without sleep at all. Bro cleared the game the first time, the second time, the 10th time, until he became the first player to clear the game, Paladin of Blood, for the 19th time. After clearing the game, he claims to be happy because now he is the strongest in the world, but looking at bro's face, it seems he has been gaming for at least 72 hours. He then decides to play the 20th playthrough in hellish mode. He decided to level up first before trying it so that you would be the strongest in the world. He picks a fairy princess outfit for his male playable character whose level is 9990. Bro must have been playing the game for years to reach that level. He decides to finally start his 20th playthrough. As soon as he presses yes on the gamepad, a bright light emits from his flat screen, which alerts him, but before he could figure out what is going on, his soul is sucked out of his body and into the screen. His soul reappears inside the game world. As he soars through the sky, he is panicking since he doesn't know what is going on. He tries to calm down and understand the situation he is in. He realizes that since he is blue, that means, this is his soul. So even if he fell, he probably would not die. As he continues to move, he notices a structure in the distance and recognizes it as the Tower of Life from the game. Which means he entered the game, Paladin of Blood. He approaches a building, he recognized as the Tomb of the Paladin. The MC becomes happy since he knows he is going to possess his character from the game, Aged Kimchi. Which is almost at max level. Really? Bro, you could have named the character anything, and you picked a name like that. The MC thinks he is about to start a life of being invincible and strong. Finally, as he is about to possess the character, he takes one look at the abomination he created with his own hands and realizes that he really does not want to turn into that. So the system swerved and bent that corner and headed back into the air to possess the second best thing in this world. The MC is confused at what is happening. When he realized that the system was sending him into the body of the Demon King, he started to panic again. But now it is too late, bro, you messed up big time. Back to the present, Kratos is sitting on his throne, regretting his decision cause this situation is driving him nuts. If he hadn't had that stupid thought after looking at Aged Kimchi back there, he would have become the most overpowered character. What an idiot, bro really fumbled. Zephyros is walking through the corridor and he overhears the demon army generals talking. They think Kratos has definitely gotten weaker. That's why he got scared and stopped their attack. The vampire prince Azurat wants them to join hands to cut off Kratos's head and share the authority of the throne. After all, Kratos became the king by taking the head of the previous demon lord. Hartok asks what if Kratos didn't get weaker? At least 2 of the 4 of them will either suffer fatal injuries or die. Sergei asks Azurat if he can offer to be their shield, then they can give it a try. Azurat gets furious at her for trying to use him as a meat shield. While they are arguing, Baal is just craving something to eat. Azurat asks what if there is evidence that the demon lord has now gotten weaker? Will they attack him? The other confidently declared that then they would kill him. Zephyros hears everything the generals just discussed. He heads to the demon lord, and instead of reporting the evil plan brewing in the shadows, he just reports that the morale of the army has plummeted and that there have been more cases of their people attacking and devouring each other internally. Also, some of the people have left the land of the demons without notice. Kratos listens silently without responding. Zephyros finally reports that the 4 generals are enraged. They say that he has gotten weaker, and in fact, they are planning to work together to cut off his head. Kratos is trampling from hearing this news. He knows if the 4 of them attack him together, he will definitely die, and if he appears weak, he will also die. He wonders about the playable character, Aged Kimchi. Since he didn't possess that body, is it just a corpse? If that is the case, then charging into the human world would be better. Zeph suddenly shows him a video of the Tomb of the Paladin that was sent by one of their generals. The crystal ball shows Aged Kimchi violently bashing a demon who pleads for help. The hero takes it a step further by gouging out the eyes of the demon. This act scares Kratos and the demon. Kratos begins to sweat cause he knows he is screwed if he attacks the human world. The crazy hero will come after him, and honestly, he would prefer not to meet this crazy guy. He must stay here no matter what. At this rate, he will either appear weak or choose to surrender, and the 4 great demon generals will kill him. And if he charges into the human world, Aged Kimchi will gouge out his eyes and kill him. Bro is in a lose-lose situation. Kratos starts crying and wonders why he had to come into the game world. He can't find any happiness. He quickly regains his composure, stands up, and decides that the only way to be safe is to resolve the issue of food and get the demons to calm down. Zeph questions him on where he's going, and he responds that he's going to look for some land for farming. Zeph becomes confused upon hearing what he said and asks Kratos to come again. And Kratos responds with a pardon. He tells Kratos that he is narcissistic, arrogant, and has zero manners. For him to say, pardon, is shameful. That's gross and horrifying. So he should please not do that again. Kratos thinks Zeph is trying to provoke him. He wonders if he was such a character in the game. In the game, Zeph appeared just once before the battle with the Demon Lord without any explanation. But that made him quite a popular character. He had a few lines when he was confronted by the hero before he was eventually defeated by the hero. That was why players thought he was just either very loyal to Demon Lord or really respected him. Zeph tells him that his blunder this time was unprecedented and honestly, he has never met a Demon Lord who has lost that much trust from the demons. Kratos honestly thinks that Zeph is really annoying. Zeph asks him if he wants to farm in the Demon Kingdom. He didn't know Kratos' memory was only as good as a pigeon's. Kratos angrily tries to argue that he is the Demon Lord and Zeph is being too disrespectful, he should not push his luck. Zeph refuses and continues to talk. Kratos just wonders why Zeph is not the least bit scared of him. Zeph continues to explain that the former Demon Lords and himself have already tried farming in these lands but it didn't work because of the harsh and extreme temperature differences he should be well aware of. Nothing grows on these lands, Kratos is well aware of that. He knows this land is called the Land of Death, but with his current abilities, it's possible to save this land. He really hates farming, but he needs to survive first. If bro hates farming, then why was he taking a course on it in university? Zeph becomes confused as Kratos scrapes the ground and eats it. Zeph, ever attentive, writes down the Demon Lord's strange behavior. He seems to think Kratos has now become a beggar who eats dirt. The Demon Lord angrily questions his aide about what he's writing and tells him to stop. Zeph tells the Demon Lord that he's just performing his duties. After all, recording the Demon Lord's chronicle is important. He also tells him that his ability to remember things has definitely deteriorated. The Demon Lord thinks in his head that his aide is such a pain in the ass. He directs his thoughts from him and continues to think of how to make the land fertile for farming. He knows that the ground has zero nutrients and no nitrogen either. Nitrogen is an element that is absolutely necessary for the growth of plants. Plants are unable to make use of the nitrogen in the air by themselves, even though it makes up 78% of the atmosphere, because the atoms form solid triple bonds, making it nearly impossible for them to undergo chemical reactions. Thus, humanity developed the nitrogen fixation process through chemical engineering, leading to a huge increase in food production. And to do that with such land, it's impossible. There is nothing to be used as the foundation for farming. That means we need to make use of the nitrogen fixation mechanism in nature. This is what Kratos thinks. He realizes that lightning is the key. Using its natural voltage, nitrogen is oxidized into nitrate. It then mixes with the rainfall and gets absorbed into the soil. The main technique of the Demon Lord is Bloody Strike, which is a lightning-based attack he uses to fight the hero in the game. It explodes both lightning and moisture at the same time. It's a technique made for creating fertile soil. He asks Zeph to stand back and prepares to begin the attack, which means he has to scratch himself to draw blood for the attack. He screams in pain from scratching his hand and thinks that the Demon Lord is a lunatic for using this attack every time cause it hurts a lot. He suddenly senses someone behind him. And turns to look, only to find the 4 generals hiding behind a tree and stalking him. They soon realize that he has gotten weaker. Kratos is scared shitless after seeing them. And Zeph confirms that he's gotten 100% weaker. Kratos thinks that Zeph is an assassin. His plan was to provoke and kill him. Out of sheer panic, Kratos hastily tries to perform the attack, Bloody Strike, cause at least it is better than dying. He performs the attack, but unfortunately, nothing happens, and his blood just drips to the ground. As he screams in pain like a little kid, right in front of his subjects. The 4 generals confidently approach him with evil intentions and ask if he is feeling well. The almighty demon lord, Kratos, starts to panic as usual. He knows he is screwed. Somewhere far away, we see the playable character aged Kimchi, who seems to recall some memories from his previous lives when he had been used by the MC. He has lived this life more than 10 times. He knows he is supposed to head over to that place. He moved because of the summon of duty that led him there. But this time, it's gone. The summon of duty no longer says anything. Now he wonders what to do with life. Since he has now become an NPC, the most overpowered NPC at that too. Aged Kimchi turns and begins to walk away. The demon lord is still being confronted by the generals. Azurat tells him that according to the rules of the demons, the strongest is the demon lord. Kratos has the scariest face but still thinks the generals are scary, cause each of them is so freaking strong. He can't even use his skill right now. Is he going to die? Kratos is so frustrated that he begins to emit insane amounts of pressure, and even Azurat is frightened by his incredible pressure. The fight hasn't even started, but he's already gathering his strength to the point his body is trembling. These guys are seriously misunderstanding the situation. Bro is scared but they think he is getting angrier. But Azurat smiles smugly thinking he has his whole squad backing him. He asks the demon lord if he can defeat the 4 of them in his current state. Not knowing his so-called comrades have already abandoned him. Azurat mentally questions them on what they are doing. The traitors tell him to just start the fight without them and they will join the fight if possible. Azurat calls them evil bastards. And seriously, what did he expect? They are demons, of course, they're evil. Zeph, who was prepared for a situation like this, starts a live stream for the demon army to watch the fight. Based on the long-time tradition of the demons, all fights are to the death, and there's no giving up. Kratos and Azurat try to stop the fight but are too late. Azurat strengthens his resolve, thinking he can win because Kratos is weakened. Meanwhile, Kratos with an angry look wonders what he should do. Seriously, bro needs to work on his facial expressions. I can't tell when he's angry or holding in a fart. A while back, he tested his strength since the demon lord should be very strong. But he is not that strong. He's strong, but it's nothing to brag about. Azurat charges at MC, who gets frightened a little bit. He knows he has seen that movement in the game. It's either a thrust or a slash. There is no way he can dodge something like that. When Azurat strikes at the MC, he dodges the attack rather easily. Kratos is surprised by the feat he just pulled. He recognizes that when Azurat's left foot is pointing outwards, that means he'll use a thrust to attack, just like in the game. His movements are the same as in the game. Azurat lands after failing to land his attack and turns to face Kratos. The other generals are discussing Kratos' intentions when he dodged the attack. He looked like he was about to counterattack and tear off Azurat's arm. Another wonders why he didn't. So they decided to wait and observe longer. Azurat slashes at Kratos and he successfully dodges the attack again. He is still surprised at how easily he is dodging the attacks. He thinks all of Azurat's movements are really the same as the game's. He remembers when he first met Azurat, he was absolutely taken aback. It was impossible. Azurat's movements were fast, he threw in feints that were offbeat, and even had a wide range of attacks. He really couldn't be defeated. But after dying once, thrice, and 10 times, he was finally able to defeat him for the first time on his 128th try. In the following 19 playthroughs, he was able to completely make a fool out of Azurat by having a no-hit run. Simply put, there's no way his attacks will hit him. Azurat continues to attack the demon lord and fails. Kratos genuinely begins to laugh maniacally like Lloyd Frontera from the series, the greatest estate developer. By the way, the author of this manhwa is the same one who wrote The Greatest Estate Developer, so you already know this manhwa is going to be a banger. And if you have not already seen or read that one, you can go and check it out or leave a comment if you want me to recap that series for you. Now back to the story. The laugh sends shivers down the spines of the other generals, leaving them frightened. Kratos continues to laugh as he skillfully dodges the attacks. And from the poses bro is posing, it is safe to say, bro is not taking the fight seriously. The generals watching the fights think he's having fun. He's laughing at the vampire prince for being weak and enjoying himself. The vampire prince gets frustrated by what the demon lord is doing. He attacks again and misses the demon lord. Kratos thinks it is a relief that the vampire prince can't defeat him, but he has realized something important. This world shares the same rules as the game. Suddenly a system notification pops up, telling the MC that he has realized the basic rule of this world. Kratos is shocked to see the message he frequently sees in webtoons. The system informs him that he has succeeded in dodging his enemies' attacks with high concentration. As Azurat angrily charges at him, the system informs him that, as a reward, a part of the game system that is used by the playable characters has been unlocked. The unlock feature is the targeting function. Kratos is shocked as a target appears on Azurat's face. He knows it's targeting that's used when using special skills. That means he can use his skills. He scratches his hand again to use a bloody strike on Azurat, and this time the attack works. The generals are left speechless. The demon army chants in support of Kratos as they watch the fight. Kratos stands in front of the defeated vampire prince, who is scorched but very much still alive. Kratos becomes angry that he is still alive after being hit by a bloody strike, which causes instant death in the game. Azurat survived because he's got a great recovery system, so he'll recover his energy in no time. So like the evil demon he is, he does the logical thing and strikes him again and again and again and again. And the generals are astonished by his ruthlessness. They think he's attacking him to the extent that the vampire prince won't die while causing him pain at the same time. But Kratos is actually trying to kill him and just failing. In fact, he wonders what to do to Azurat, who is lying on the ground. The system tells him that due to his attacks, he has torn off the vampire prince's clothes and he's now naked. The system might be a pervert because that is a pretty suspicious message to just mention. A new system feature, the inventory's armor removal, gets unlocked because of his attacks. Kratos wonders if there is some kind of good armor in the inventory. But he is disappointed to find the clothes that he's already wearing in there, and he doesn't see anything he can use right now. But first thing is first, he needs to get rid of the vampire prince because he's not strong enough to kill him and his recovery is great, so he will definitely get up after some time. Kratos gets a bright idea: since he's not dead, he can still target him. He can also keep firing bloody strikes at him. So with Azurat, he can infuse the ground with tons of nitrogen. With an evil smile, he declares that he is the smartest. He also realizes that the other generals are now scared of him and decides to test his luck. He calls the female general, Sergei, over and asks her to tie Azurat up tightly. She assumes the demon lord wants her to tie up a naked man because he is trying to humiliate both her and Azurat at the same time. Seriously, these people need to stop reading too much into the things the MC does. Azurat is later tied to a big stick and hanged like a scarecrow. The demon lord's bright idea was to first tie Azurat and plant him into the ground as a lightning rod. Azurat wakes up after he has fully recovered and shouts victorious after his recovery. He tells Kratos that he has indeed gotten weaker. To think he can't kill him with his bloody strike skill. This time he'll definitely cut off his head. But Kratos to proceed to step 2, attack the rod with the bloody strike skill. He unleashes several bloody strikes on the rod. With this, he can oxidize the nitrogen in the air into nitrite. Kratos calls Hartok and asks him to cover the whole area with fog. It has to be so thick that water will be flowing. Hartok thinks the demon lord plans to make the whole place wet so he can make his lightning more painful. What a creative way of torture. He has learned something new today. He begins to release fog and it starts to fall all over Azurat. This is step 3. In Step 4, release bloody strikes continuously on the human lightning rod. As Kratos performs his attacks, he also feels pain because of the way he is scratching his hand. Zeph and the generals silently watch how he continuously attacks the vampire prince, who is too stunned to shout himself. Kratos happily thinks that with this, he can make good ground with nitrogen. He wonders if he will get a bountiful harvest. Honestly, he is getting excited. Bro does not stop attacking his human lightning rod until the hardening ground softens a little bit later. Kratos knows the next thing to do is to improve the soil. This loose monovalent, structured soil neither allows oxygen to enter nor drains water well. For farming, crumbly, granular structured soil is ideal. Now he is going to need some manure. So he turns to look at the generals and requests for their shits. The generals are stunned that after making an example out of Azurat and grilling him like barbecue, he still wants to smear Azurat with shit. This is by far the cruelest thing anyone has ever done. Justice for the scarecrow. Deep in the forest, aged Kimchi comes across some people who need help because they were attacked by a group of goblins. Honestly, these two look like a knockoff version of Lloyd and Javier from the other series. The way Kimchi looks at them scares them. But he tries to reassure them that he is not suspicious or a bad person. But the knockoff Lloyd and Javier still think he looks horrifyingly suspicious. He asks if they hurt their leg or something. And then he picks up the injured person and asks the other to lead the way. The injured character praises Kimchi for his strength and he introduces himself as Envoy Rivage Azrahan and the one behind them as his servant Diol Frontera. Their names are just Javier and Lloyd spelled backward. They ask their savior for his name also. The NPC responds that is what he needs to find out starting now. Back at the Demon Lord's palace, the generals are seriously considering where to get the shit for the Demon Lord. Are they supposed to do it themselves on the spot or something? Sergei is embarrassed by how ridiculous this situation is. Honestly, it is disgusting. Bal explains that it has been a while since he last ate, so he can't go number 2, and Sergei does not poop either. The embarrassed Sergei asks Bal not to talk about her poop. Hartok knows for a fact that even if they can poop, he still doesn't want to give the Demon Lord his poop. So they should just beat up the low-ranking demons and make them start pooping. I already feel like this will be the weirdest shakedown ever. They attacked some villages and threatened the residents to poop while under supervision. The scared demon tells the guards that if all of them are watching like that, then he can't poop, so they should wait outside at least. One of the guards tells Hartok that all the residents said the same thing. But Hartok just doesn't care. He just wants what he came for, so the demon should try harder. The low-ranking demon explains that he has not eaten in a while, so he can't poop. Hartok grabs the villager by the neck and decides to take matters into his own hands and pluck it out of him. As he goes in for the kill, he is stopped by Bal. Hartok is irritated by Bal for interrupting him. Bal protests that piercing the demon's stomach means he will die and they will get no poop from him. They need to poop more so they can collect more. Hartok responds that's smart, considering it is coming from a musclehead like Bal. He tosses the demon to the floor and suggests that if he feeds them with Baal's meat, maybe they'll start pooping. The two stare at each other intensely to the point they start to scare the demon nearby cause he knows it is about to go down. Before the two could clash with each other, Kratos appears, yells at them, and attacks them to stop their clash. After electrocuting both of them, he tells them that humans are not the only ones who can defecate. Back in the Demon Lord's storeroom, he tells them that there's no use for feces with no nutritional value. They need to look for feces that can be used for manure. Manure? Zeph asks him. The Demon Lord replies by saying yes, it's the ingredient that provides the field with nutrients. The Demon Lord thinks to himself that manure is made with wooden ashes, weeds, soil, eggshells, and chicken feces. For wooden ashes and weeds, they can just use those empty houses they saw before. Now the only problem is the eggshells and chicken feces. Oh! Thinks the Demon Lord after coming to the realization. The demon lord tells Zeph to bring him the land map. He replies saying yes, Your Majesty. After looking at the map, he says the map is exactly the one he saw from the game. Which means, he continues, he should be able to find them here once he gets to the place. He thinks in his head the habitat of the demon seagulls. In the game, there are plenty of them all over the field. This shows that the seagulls can ingest a great deal of nutrients from the human's land. And then, they poop and lay eggs there. It's the perfect place. Zeph asks him if he intends to collect the feces of demon seagulls. Kratos confirms his thoughts and points out how quick he is to catch on. Zeph explains that the place is called the cliff from which one cannot return. There are no stable holds, and if one falls, he'll get caught up in the rough waves. But Kratos already knows that well because that place isn't systematically available for players to reach. But he confidently declares that he can climb it. Some time passes and finally, they arrive at the cliff from which no one can return. The generals are wondering what in the world the demon lord is thinking. Many have already challenged the cliff to hunt those seagulls from old times, but they all ended up falling prey to the waves. Kratos tells them, he will climb to the top and throw down the bag when it is full of feces and eggshells. They should make sure to catch them. And if the plan succeeds, everyone will be fed well. His wicked smile honestly doesn't make his intentions seem sincere to them. Baal recalls the suffering the low-ranking demons go through every day. Kratos then stands closer to the waves and thinks about his 13th playthrough, when he tried everything to get up there. He tried over 100 times and failed multiple times until he finally figured it out. He leaps from the ground and the demons await the outcome. He lands on the cliff and uses a glitch from the game, which is to unequip all his armor. The demons are shocked by his actions since he is stuck inside the cliff with just hair and butt cheeks outside. This sight disgusts the demons around watching him. As he turns around to show his front side, Sergei covers her eyes. But what she expects to happen, doesn't since Kratos equips all his armor again. And now this front side is showing with his backside inside the cliff. So the trick is to roll his body and unequip all armor and roll again and equip all armor. He continues to make his move to climb the cliff while the generals watch him. Finally, Kratos makes it to the top of the cliff. He stands at the top of the cliff and declares he has finally done it. A world where the game system is shared, an equipment inventory, and the edge of the map that supposedly no one can ever reach. Putting all of these facts together, he experimented and was convinced that it was possible. Baal said the demon lord said he would feed them all. So he will go up and help him. Zeph tries to stop him but ultimately fails and Baal rushes to climb the cliff. Kratos notices Baal too late, and Baal leaps onto the cliff to follow the demon lord. Kratos angrily yells at him to stop what he is trying to do. But he is too late and Baal slips from the cliff, almost falling to the waves. Quickly, Kratos grabs Baal, preventing him from falling. But the muscle head is so damn heavy that Kratos thinks his arm might be ripped off. He questions himself as to why he is saving this muscle head. He is one of the 4 demon generals, a threat to him, wouldn't he be better off gone? He tells Baal that he has no reason to help him. Looking at Baal's face, it reminded him of a junior who asked him for help back in the university. A professor wasn't letting the guy submit his essay because he wanted to use him as his work slave forever. The student pleaded with him to help him. That way, the professor can at least take a look at his essay. Since the professors love him and he's the best. So the professor might listen if it is him. The MC remembers the guy was a junior who used to follow him around. He also knew since he was the #1 slave maybe the professor might have indeed listened. But he was scared that he might fall out of favor. That he might put himself in a disadvantageous situation. So in the end, he turned down the guy and walked away. He deeply regrets his actions back then. 'Cause maybe he could have saved that guy. So now, he is trying extra hard to save Baal. Maybe if he tries his best this time and squeezes everything he has a bit more to his absolute limits, The guy's face in his memory might be smiling instead. Kratos with everything he has tries to pull Ball up to safety and he even breaks his arm. But was still able to save Ball by throwing him to the top of the cliff. Later when he is nursing his injury, Ball asks him why he saved him at even the cost of his own safety. He had no reason to do that, so why? Kratos tells Ball he did it because the injury hurt less than abandoning his follower. And if he lets him die, he will end up regretting it. These words end up bringing Ball to tears. The scene reminds him of his junior crying. And he wished he could have done the same for him back then. He mentally apologizes to him. He truly regrets not saving his junior. The system appears again in front of him. It states even in a state where he has not fully adapted to the body of the demon king Kratos, he poured all his strength. As a result, he has earned the sincere gratitude of Baal, one of the 4 demon generals. If Baal is truly grateful for what he did. The system states that in honor of his achievements, a system is established where providing his army with a sense of abundant happiness earns him a great number of points. Kratos is still confused as to what the points are for. The system opens the happy point, HP, accommodation system. Happy points, he knows this. Is it something that can get me a discount for ice cream? Is there a place in this world that sells ice cream? The system quickly corrects him saying no, what kind of game world like this would sell ice cream? Kratos is surprised he can converse with the system. The system explains that, for each soldier in the demon army who feels happy from a full stomach, he will gain 1 happy point which he can use to purchase stats. It displays his current stats, and it shows that he is able to use 20% of Demon Lord Kratos' strength. He has 20% of stamina, mental strength, dexterity, and magic power. He is currently able to add 10% to each stat. The system also tells him to try to increase all 5 stats and attain 100% of Kratos' strength. He decides to test it out and tries to add plus 10% stamina. The system informs him that, to purchase stamina plus 10, he needs 50 happy points. And now he has 0. He realizes just how expensive it is. The system continues to explain that he can use HP to purchase skill enhancements too. The current skill that he can use is still Bloody Strike, which is level 1, he needs 250 HP to level it up. He knows he can do anything yet. But if you can farm successfully, then he could gather quite a lot of HP. He wouldn't become super strong and increase his rate of survival too. But also to be thanked by someone feels pretty good. His evil smile alerts Baal, who thinks he is trying to tell him that he'll rip him apart immediately if he doesn't listen to what he says since he owes Kratos his life. Kratos is a really mean demon lord. He didn't save Baal out of good faith. From the top, Kratos calls out his subordinates and tells them he will put the shit into the eggshell and throw it down, so they should make sure to catch it. The subordinates are dumbfounded by what he just said, but before they can get time to think, he throws down the eggshells. And to no one's surprise, all the shit spill out of the eggshells onto the subordinates. Zeph is mentally checked out at this point by all the absurd things he has experienced today. Kratos happily just continues to throw poop at them like some monkey. When they get back to the land of death, the first step to making the place farmland, making manure starts. Seagull shit, egg shells, burnt tree ashes, and preparing the farm soil are all ready. Next is to grind it all together and mix it well. Kratos calls Sergei and instructs her to crush and grind them all together. She asks him why, and he explains, it is because she has a lot of arms and can do it. Sergei angrily declares that she, the cold monarch Sergei's arms are not made for doing disgusting things like mixing shit. But the demon lord also gives her an ultimatum, which is to become the scarecrow of the farm like Azurat over there or do what she's told. The next moment, Sergei is busy mixing manure like her life depended on it. Kratos was scared there for a moment. Honestly, these guys are all hot-tempered, so he mustn't let his guard down. He is the demon lord after all, he must push with guts and force. The second step of making manure is to add water. So he informs Hartok that he wants him to fill the air with fog. He also tries to complain that the stench will become even harder to bear because of the moisture. Kratos just points at Azurat, and Hartok, understanding what he is trying to say, quickly gets to work. After a while, Bal inspects the soil, and Kratos asks if the moisture content is enough. He responds it is soft after being soaked with water. It's just as the demon lord said it'd be. The third step is to place the manure in a dry place and cover it with a blanket made of seagull feathers. But even just making a bit would take a very long time. To make enough manure to cover this vast piece of land, he has no choice but to mobilize all the demons to work. But there's something that is bothering him, but it has to be done now. He will just push ahead with the authority of the demon lord. Somewhere in a demon village, in a house, a man sits beside his sick daughter who's lying in bed. The daughter, named Flute, calls her dad, who is interested to know what she wants. Flute begs her dad to eat her. And the dad tells her not to say something like that. She cries and tells him that she misses her mom. The dad is shocked, and we see a flashback to what happened to the mom. A huge hungry demon approaches Flute, ready to devour her. So the girl begins to cry. As the huge demon opens its mouth to eat, a woman steps in front of the girl, shielding her. The girl is surprised to see her mom, who turns to smile at her, trying to reassure her daughter that everything will be alright. The demon in one sitting consumes the girl's mom. She was not enough to even be considered a snack. For someone who claimed to be hungry, he sure ate light. In the present, the father tells his daughter that if she also dies, then he will not have a reason to live on. Someone suddenly barges into the room, drawing the father's attention. It turns out to be the demon lord and two of his subordinates. The father shouts in surprise, and Kratos, with his usual scary face, says that since he still has the energy to shout, that means he can work. So they should take him. The father tries to argue that if his weak daughter is left alone, it is very likely that a higher-ranked demon will eat her up. But the father is dragged away from his daughter, who is screaming for her dad not to be taken. Little girl, at this point, only Liam Neeson can save the one taken. Kratos asks Zeph how many they have so far, and he tells him they have gotten 20 demons. They still need 30 more. Kratos looks back at the crying girl and remembers her from the game when he used to play it, and how he attacked her like she was a baseball he was trying to hit for a home run. He turns away from her and commands the demons to stop all illegal acts of eating their own kind. He tells Zeph to gather the remaining demons and that everyone should start making manure now. He knows, as the demon lord, the tyranny of this level is needed to achieve his goal. The role of a leader is to bear some sacrifices. Yes, to achieve your goal, you must sacrifice something. In the land of death, the demons are busy trying to make manure. The little girl's dad, Dyrok, asks a friend why they have been wasting their strength for these past few days. Farming sounds so ridiculous. The other guy tells him to shut up so the demon lord doesn't hear him or he will lose his head. Dyrok tells his friend that they are going to die anyway, and if this land really becomes fertile, what are they going to plant anyway? They don't have anything to plant. Kratos appears behind him and asks if he's curious about what they're going to plant. Dyrok became scared upon realizing Kratos was behind him. But Kratos asks the man to just follow him. He thinks back to the day when he first saw a purple flower briefly. He knows that is something they can plant. He shows the demon the purple flower. He tells him that they will plant this particular flower's root for now. Bal and some demons have already dug it up from various places. The demon seems confused since that flower's root can't be eaten. When consumed, it sometimes inflicts extreme abdominal pain and could kill you. Kratos tells him that other than this, there is nothing else that can be chewed in this land. So the experiments to test if it can be eaten or not should be concluded by now. Kratos turns and tells the demon that right now, his daughter should be eating the flower's root. The demon becomes fearful upon realizing what the demon lord said. He starts to run frantically towards his home to check on his daughter. He wonders why they are doing this to an innocent girl. He hopes his daughter will not eat it. When he gets home, he yells at his daughter not to eat it. We see Zeph and Bal are the ones here to witness the results of this experiment. The dad is shocked at what he is seeing. His daughter is okay from eating the plant, and now she doesn't have peeled skin anymore like the last time. She tells her dad that even though she ate the plant, she doesn't feel any pain. He asks her if she is alright, and she tells him that she was also fed yesterday and didn't feel anything. What a cruel lord, using this little girl like a lab rat. Kratos arrives and asks if the man now believes him. A long time ago, humans of a certain land also made that poisonous plant edible somehow. They successfully cultivated it and were able to resolve their hunger issues. The food she is eating is known as potato. Flute is surprised the demon lord is showing such kindness to a lowly demon like her, and she thanks him. The system informs him that parts of his demon army feel happy from eating, so he has received HP for the first time. His HP count increases by 1. Kratos is truly astonished by this and looks at the girl, who seems happy now as compared to the previous times. Just because he is the demon lord doesn't mean he has to always look serious. He shows his signature smile, the smile from hell, and tells the girl that a brat like her just has to eat her fill and grow up tall. Everyone gets scared thinking he is just trying to fatten her up so he can eat her. He truly is an evil demon lord. Honestly, I think bro was trying to smile softly and say something nice, and it came out as a threat to her life. The deepest place in the vast territory of the demon lord, Chavinda and Tor. The territory is divided into 5 areas, and this area is located in the deepest one. It is freezing cold at night and burning hot in a day. This climate reminds one of the Andean highlands. In the past, people in the Andes didn't have enough food to eat. So they ended up eating poisonous wild potatoes. Then, they died. Humans are like that, they are capable of turning things that you ask them not to eat edible. A demon calls the demon lord to show him the potatoes. Kratos calls Bal to crush the potatoes. He leaps into the air to crush the potatoes. Take your time, they are just potatoes, and lightly stepping on them will work just fine too. Bal is using his meteor stomp on the potatoes that were frozen for 5 nights after melting them during the day. This causes the poison within the potatoes to leak out and evaporate. They freeze, melt, stomp, and then evaporate them. After repeating this process, they dry them up and store them before cooking them slightly. They then become wild potatoes that can be eaten. The completion of Chuno. Kratos tells Zeph to gather the farming squad that's making manure. With his signature smile, he informs him it's time for snacks. They'll enjoy eating this, won't they? At the gathering, Kratos tells them that there isn't that much, so only take 2 each. Zeph informs him that there is still a lot of potatoes left. Can't they just make more of them? Kratos doubts there are even that many left. It's far from sufficient if they want to feed the whole demon army. Therefore, they obviously have to plant the remaining potatoes and grow them 1,000-fold. The workers are skeptical about the potatoes since they are poisonous roots that can kill you. Some of them lost their relatives after they ate some. Flute's dad tells his fellow workers that the demon lord has changed it and it can be eaten now. His daughter ate this and was fine after. One of the workers calls him a fool, and that the demon lord with his devilish smile is not someone who will give them food. He is looking forward to them eating it and then rolling on the ground until they die. But Flute's dad, to the shock of the others, ate the chuno. And tearfully yelled out, "Long live the demon lord." After the farming squad observed the first person who ate, they all ate up the chuno quickly and turned to the demon lord. The demon lord gave them food that could be eaten. They start to cheer for the demon lord Kratos. Kratos doesn't really like the chant and decides to change it later on. Zeph thinks that the demon lord makes it seem like he has no doubt that he will be able to make edible food on this barren land. Maybe he can really bring an end to the tragedy caused by hunger. The system then notifies Kratos that part of his demon army feels happy from eating, so he has received 50 HP, making his total 51 HP. Kratos becomes happy by this fact and thinks that's a decent number of points. He can make himself a little stronger now. However, what will benefit him the most right now, he has no idea, so maybe he'll just gather more points first. He will now split the manure squad and the potato gathering squad. Zeph draws the attention of everyone and tells the farming squad to tell this to the people after they get off work today. Tell them that edible food can be grown even on this land. They promise that demons who dig up wild potatoes will be given food vouchers that can be exchanged for chunos. Kratos is not surprised that the annoying aide is just as smart and helpful as he looks. Demons of the village faithfully dig up all the potatoes for their demon king. While one side will keep producing chunos that can be eaten, the other will make manure. Kratos even moved his special lightning rod around the fields, placing it in different spots and striking it to get nitrate for the field. At this point, even M's starting to feel bad for Azurat. Poor guy, all because he is immortal. But Kratos's job is not done. Now that there's enough manure, it is time to move forward to the next step. They need to spread manure evenly across the land. But the land is too vast. The land is just too much for the farming squad, who are surviving only on a few balls of chunos, to cover it. While he is thinking of his next moves, Azurat calls him a bastard and tries to get him to just kill him. He strikes him again to shut him up and wonders if he can get a demon general who functions well even while starving. Even without rest, he can work for a long time. Is there really no choice but to wait for that? Back in his throne room, Kratos asks Zeph if he requested more troops from the Star Masters. Zeph responds with a yes and explains that they have in fact ordered to stop attacking and provide as many troops as possible for farming. Messengers have been sent to the 4 Star Masters who manage each area of the demon land. And at the moment, they still haven't received replies from any of them. Kratos wonders if the messengers collapse from hunger on the way there. It is too tough to spread manure with the current number of troops. In the demon's land, 1st Star area, Cliff of the Dead, a subordinate is informing his lord that according to their scout demon's report, the demon lord Kratos has really become an aura farmer. Sorry, he is just a regular farmer. And it seems he has already created edible food. The lord thinks that Kratos has become a farmer because he is scared of him, since he gets stronger when more demons die. So Kratos stopped the war and reduced the number of people dying of starvation to keep him in check. This old ghost is the 1st Star Master father of the dead, Saruthal. Look like we have found our first casualty of the series. Ghost Zaddy asks his aide, Vikamer, if he took care of all the messengers who were sent to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Star areas. The follower responds, yes. The other Star Masters have no idea about the war being stopped and a farm being created. Ghost Zaddy wants the demons to die of starvation cause only then can they become his food and army. So he swears to kill Kratos and become the new demon lord. We all know what happened to the last guy who went down this road. He calls Vikamer and tells him that he wants him to destroy everything related to farming that Kratos has done. At night, when Azurat is suffering from the cold air, Vikamer appears and states that Kratos is vicious for turning Azurat into a living corpse to make an example of him. You are witnessing how cruel the demon lord can be, and you still plan to destroy his hard work. Some people really need consequences to learn a lesson. Vikamer assures Azurat not to worry. Lord Saruthal likes his aggressiveness, so he will take him in after he kills Kratos. He commands the ghosts to destroy the wasteland till it can never be used again. The ghosts move ahead to destroy the hard work of the farming squad. One of them asks Vikamer what to do with the manure. He tells them to throw them all over the fields and laughs like every villain in action movies. Wait, what? Are they here to destroy or help with the farming? The mischievous ghosts start to scatter the gathered manure evenly everywhere. They even mix it into the ground to the point not even a single manure can be seen. They bury it deep into the ground. Vikamer continues to laugh. But Azurat, who is silently hanging on his pole, is probably thinking to himself, what a bunch of idiots. He remembers the conversation between Kratos and Zeph, where he asked Kratos, what they needed to do now. He explains that the manure needs to be grinded finely and mixed into the ground. Doing so is really tough. So it's impossible for the farming squad to do it. As Fikama rejoices, not knowing he is actually helping with farming, Azuret wonders what these fools are trying to achieve here.
After a couple of hours, one of the wraiths complains that, there's no end to this. And another tells him to, stop lazing around. If there are any bits left unturned, the Demon King Kratos will make it a farmland. The first wraith calls the other wraith, number 2718, and tells him he is working extremely hard today. He always lazed around. Oh yeah. That's true, 2718 responds to number 1341. But I don't know. I just feel like working today. When I look at all the work we've done, I feel proud, you know. Like I've done something productive. 1341 silently looks at him and calls him an idiot. The other wraiths around exclaim, today, we will be idiots too. As they work, the sun begins to rise, and they realize that there isn't much time left. One gets excited and asks, aren't we too good at this? Another finally notices the sun. He thinks he lost track of time because of their work. The sun appears and burns them to death. However, they think a death like this isn't bad. They were productive, after all. The wraiths finally die, and their souls happily pass on to the afterlife. Fikama tearfully tells the dead wraiths that they did it. So they should please rest somewhere nice. And now, we'll see how Demon Lord Kratos reacts. In a barn near the farm, Demon Lord Kratos tells Zeph that, tilling the field took longer than expected, but they took just as long themselves. Staring at a lot of potatoes, he says, all these potatoes are in a dormant state. The confused Zeph asks what he means by a dormant state. And Kratos explains, the potatoes won't grow sprouts. There's no use even if they plant them. It's as if a potato was peacefully sleeping in the earth, and someone just yanked it out by the hair. The potatoes then passed out from the shock, and their biological rhythm paused. Their dormancy will end quicker if he leaves them for about 2 to 3 weeks at 4 degrees Celsius, then suddenly move them someplace warmer and dark. Kratos wanted Sergi to imbue them with her cold energy, but she's really angry right now. And Hartok's up to something as well. He won't be able to avoid those two attacking him together, so he better think of another way. He thinks it's okay to raise the storage's temperature to about 23 degrees, so he had the farmer soldiers do squats. But they all got tired, so that's also a failure. The frustrated Kratos then says, let's go to the farms, Zephyros. He thinks, I'll do what I can for now. I need to at least imbue the soil with nitrogen. But to his surprise, when he gets to the farm, the dirt is all mixed up, and the stink is filling the area. The whole land of death was ready for planting. He wonders to himself, what kind of miracle is this? The excited Fikama thinks that the Demon Lord is shocked. And he laughs and assumes the operation was a perfect success. But without him realizing it, one of the demon generals, Baal, is standing behind him. Baal then grabs Fikama and brings him before Kratos, telling him that he caught him hiding behind the only tree in the entire land of death. Fikama tells Baal to let him go as he struggles to free himself. Kratos immediately realizes, that's Fikama, one of the bosses from the Cliff of the Dead. He wonders, did he come here on his own after hearing the call for reinforcements? Kratos questions Fikama, what are you doing here? But before Fikama can utter a word, Kratos hits him. And Zeph asks why Kratos is hitting him before he even has the chance to answer. Kratos states, it looked like he was trying to hide something, and beating someone up is the most efficient way to deal with that. Fikama is not surprised by the Demon Lord's actions. However, he, Fikama, will not speak so easily. Again, before he can finish his sentence, Kratos uses his own version of Goma Goma no Gatling on Fikama until he gets tired and stops. The system informs him to use HP to purchase various stats. The system shows him that he possesses HP, 51. Kratos uses 50 HP to upgrade his stamina. Stamina increases from 20% to 30%. And before Fikamer can even say another word, he is beaten up again. But he finally decides that he will talk and be honest about everything. Fikamer explains that he was ordered to mess the farmland up in order to starve all the demons. Later, back at the Demon Lord's castle, they figure out that Saruthel was the one who cut off the requests for reinforcements. Kratos understands why Saruthel would do all this, since he only becomes stronger when more demons are starving. Zeph tells him, this is an act of revolution. And this might be a chance. If we take down the first Star Master Saruthel, the demons who were complaining because of the suspension of the expedition will take it as a warning. But Kratos thinks, even if that wasn't an issue, they'll keep getting in the way of my farming if I just leave them be. I need a surefire way to deal with them. Zeph then tells Kratos that the main problem would be how to defeat Saruthel. He's a ghost. Kratos responds, yes, he has the ability to turn his body like that of a ghost. Even in the game, Saruthel was all over the place in the Cliff of the Dead, which is already a complicated map. So the entire stage was like a game of hide and seek with him. If it's too hard to kill pests because they hide, then you have to pull the pests out of their nest. Back on the field, the little girl is looking at the living scarecrow, Azurat, who angrily asks, "What are you looking at?" The little girl shyly tells him that she heard it's thanks to his sacrifice that they now have food, so she is here to say thank you to him. Azurat becomes furious and asks, "How dare you mock me, Azurat? I'm going to kill a damned brat like you." The girl gets scared and runs away screaming for help. Azurat then promises to go find and kill Kratos the moment he is free from the rod. Suddenly, Azurat hears people singing and chanting a few distances away. He assumes it is Kratos. In the distance, we see the silhouette of the demon lord Kratos and the villagers coming toward the farm. We also see Fikamer on a rod and the villagers holding a banner that says, "Congrats. Second lightning rod in the office." As Kratos and the villagers dance and sing while approaching Azurat, he thinks that there is finally a second lightning rod, so that means he is free now. He starts to cry and says to himself that now, he won't have to become a rotisserie chicken all day and night. But to his dismay, Kratos plants the second scarecrow right next to him instead of replacing him. I mean, why have one lightning rod when two is even better? Without wasting any time, Kratos releases his strike attack on them. And Azurat, who at this point has accepted his fate, realizes that when Kratos said, "second lightning rod," he meant that there are two lightning rods now. As Kratos continues his barrage of attacks, Saruthel, who is watching the whole time through a crystal ball like some kind of fortune teller, gets sad about what Kratos is doing to his loyal confidant, Fikamer. As Demon Lord, Kratos continues to strike Fikamer. Saruthel weeps for his subordinate, he wonders how painful it must be. But the sadistic Demon Lord, Kratos still doesn't stop and continues to attack Fikamer, who growls in pain. Saruthel, who is watching through the crystal ball, begs Kratos to stop. Kratos glances at a strange creature with a crystal ball in its hands. He knows that, the bird is a reconnaissance wraith from the game. Looks like someone is keeping a close watch on them. The Demon Lord gets angry at the thought of someone trying to ruin his harvest, he will surely make them regret it. After some time passes, as the little girl is busy trying to farm, Azurat silently stares at her. He then asks the little girl what she is doing, to which she explains that, since the Demon Lord, the 4 heavenly generals, and all the adults are working hard on farming, she wants to help as much as possible. Azurat calls her a stupid demon brat and tells her that Fikamer and the wraiths already plowed the fields, so she should at least do something useful. The little girl thanks Fikamer for plowing the fields and becoming a lightning rod for them to farm successfully. Fikamer becomes happy, calls her a cutie, and tells her that she made all his hard work worth it. Azurat asks Fikamer if he is already losing his mind. He asks what is the big deal with plowing the land of death anyway, farming in this wasteland is not even possible. That damn potato or whatever they're trying to grow. It's not even sprouting. They say if you keep the potato storage warm, sprouts will grow quickly. But they're all going to starve to death anyway. The little girl thanks them and starts running somewhere. As she leaves, Azurat wonders what the little girl can do. Back at the Demon Lord's castle, Zeph is concerned about the Demon Lord's plan, since Saruthel must know that torturing Fikamar is a trap. So will he really come to rescue him even then? Kratos is convinced he will not. But first, he will send his subordinates. If they want that idiot to come out, they'll need to eliminate every single one of his subordinates first. He then orders for none of them to be left alive when they attack the fields at night. At night, while Baal is guarding Fikamar with the other farmers, Saruthel, who is watching them through the crystal ball, calls Kratos a fool for thinking that just waiting around, ready to attack, will make his subordinates appear. While it's unfortunate for Fikamar who was captured, Saruthel has only one true goal, which is to ruin the harvest. Saruthel sends his crop wraiths to go and attack the barn, where the potatoes are. The lizard-like ghosts quickly advance towards the barn. To crush and trample the potatoes to oblivion by orders of their master, Saruthel. As soon as they enter the barn, Kratos, who was expecting them, shows himself. This revelation frightens the crop wraiths. Kratos tells them that he knew the crop wraiths would appear here. Kratos, with a scary look, welcomes them to their grave. He remembers the time he used to play the game. The first time he encountered these crop wraiths in the game, he felt pure despair. Saruthel's second elite force. The real problem is that they always move in swarms. If they even touch you physically, they'll latch onto you and rapidly age you. Not to mention, they copy skills you have equipped. They're a complete nuisance. But Kratos is calm about this because there is a way to wipe them out. Which is to attack them with lightning-based items. Kratos scratches his hand and asks who wants to be the first to be fried. The crop wraiths realize it was a trap and decide to escape. But Kratos wouldn't let them escape since the real trap is what comes next. The barn doors close and the wraiths see blood all over the barn. Turns out, the Demon Lord had smeared his blood all over the barn last night. And now he plans to use Kratos's Phase 2 ability. He touches the floor with Bloody Strike, and the entire barn becomes electrically charged, stopping the crop wraiths from escaping and shocking them. This attack is called Wide Area Bloody Strike. Kratos yells for farm guards to know that now they can attack the crop wraiths with physical attacks. The farm guards rush into the barn with farming tools, ready to attack the now scared crop wraiths. Kratos knows the farm guards may look unimpressive, but in the game, they're the strongest units in the final map. So the weakened crop wraiths are nothing to them. As the farm guards beat up the crop wraiths, Kratos feels happy. He thinks he is like a ruthless, smart alpha demon king, and maybe he actually fits well in this world. When he spots a wraith that hasn't been fried yet, he quickly jumps to zap it and finish it off personally. He is surprised when he hears a scream behind him. He turns and finds the little girl hiding inside the potatoes. He is honestly surprised and wonders when she got in there. One of the wraiths also spots her and decides to attack her. The girl's father gets scared to see this, but Kratos quickly picks up a potato and throws it towards the wraith since his attack, Bloody Strike, won't reach that far. As the potato approaches the wraith who is about to attack the little girl, Kratos wonders what he even expects to achieve by throwing a potato. As soon as the potato makes contact with the wraith, it begins to absorb the confused wraith and successfully transforms into a sprout. It falls next to the little girl. The rest of the wraiths are able to flee the barn. Kratos walks towards the sprout to check it out. He quickly realizes that the wraith's aging ability has jump-started the stalled biological clock of the potatoes. Kratos digs up the little girl from the potatoes, and with a terrifying smile, he congrats the little girl for doing a good job. This act only terrifies the girl. Kratos then calls out the farm guards and tells them that from this moment on, they should forget luring out Saruthal. He picks up a potato and explains that, from now on, they will be going on the offensive, that'll benefit them more. The next morning, Azurat seems to be having an existential crisis from being a lightning rod for too long. He stares at the beautiful sun before him and is just grateful to face it. His stomach growls since he hasn't eaten in days. Someone then calls Azurat from below, to which he turns to look and sees the little girl. The girl thanks Azurat for his advice on the potato sprouts, and as a sign of gratitude, she brings him a ton of chuno. To which his eyes widen in surprise. She explains that Kratos gathered a lot of farmer guards and went off to sprout potatoes. Azurat could care less about what Kratos is up to when he is hungry. He begins to frantically move his head, and the little girl decides to throw the food at him. But her first attempt hits him in the eye. And he threatens to kill the girl again. But she throws a few more and one of them ends up in his mouth. The system notifies Kratos that a part of his demon army feels happy from eating, to which 1 HP is then added, bringing his total to 302 HP. Kratos wonders about who he is receiving the HP from. But honestly, he doesn't mind, since the more HP, the better. He will need to save it for the Saruthal raid. He then commanded the farmer guards to advance for a bountiful harvest. We see that Kratos is moving towards a bridge to get to Saruthal's territory. The Wraiths quickly decide to cut off the bridge to stop Kratos and his forces. As the bridge falls, they decide to mock Kratos and ask what he will do now without a bridge. The next moment, Kratos is in the air, right in front of them, leaving the Wraiths shocked, but he then begins to fall and the Wraiths laugh at how stupid Kratos is, for jumping down to his death. Only to be shocked, when they see him in the wall, with his head and plump cheeks out. Before they can fully comprehend the situation, he turns and starts moving upward toward them at an alarming speed. Kratos manages to reach the entrance and the Wraiths run away scared of this weird pervert. Kratos gives Zeph the sign to do as they planned ahead of time. And begins to sprint inside the building. He thinks that, according to his brilliant strategic plan, the crop wraiths should be terrified of the potatoes, but if he charges in all alone and unarmed, they might attack. Saruthal gets excited that Kratos is all alone and without the cursed potatoes, so he orders the crop wraiths to attack. Even just grazing Kratos means victory for them. The crop wraiths try to attack Kratos, but he uses his secret technique, the quantum leap move, to get past them and disappears into the wall. The crop wraiths discuss how creepy that move is. One points out that he is upstairs. They relentlessly chase after Kratos, trying to catch him, but they fail every time since Kratos keeps disappearing from time to time with his secret technique. As Kratos is escaping the pursuing wraiths, he knows that this is the 19th time he has done this, so he knows every corner of this map. He knows all the areas where enemies appear. He finally stops at a point and is immediately surrounded by all the wraiths. Kratos just stands there calmly. The wraiths move in for the attack while mocking the demon lord for being tired. Kratos tells them that he is not a demon lord right now but a veteran player. Suddenly, Zeph shouts for the farmer guards to throw the potatoes at the crop wraiths. The potatoes begin to sprout the moment they make contact with the wraiths. Kratos can finally rest because the job is done. Zeph thinks he was unsure at first, but it turns out the demon lord's words were spot on once again. He recalls the time the demon lord was explaining his plan to him. He told Zeph that he would go inside first and gather the wraiths in one place, so Zeph should lead the farmer guards and follow the map. Zeph told Kratos that the map leads to a dead end, and likely there's nothing there. But Kratos smiles and tells him that there is a secret shortcut there. Kratos recalls the time when he played the game, after escaping the horrifying cliff of the dead, right before reaching the final map. He scoured the area and found it. There's nothing there yet. It's made with such detail and he thought, why is the texture different there? So he tried to attack it and found a secret path. That's how the places were connected. The tunnel connects the place where he had his first battle with Saruthal to this cave. Also one could obtain the elixir of metamorphosis there. The elixir of metamorphosis is a compressed soul of countless dead meat piles. It can only be consumed once, but who knows what might happen. In the present, the farmer guards are happy to obtain sprouts that they can plant. The little girl's father is happy that they can now eat their fill. Kratos remains silent, and he remembers the face of an old woman from his past life as Jangcheol. He remembers when she asked him if he was starving and promised to let him have a full dinner that night. But sometime later, as he returned from school, he saw an ambulance taking her away. In the present, the demon lord tells the farmer guards that anyone who tries to get in the way of them finally eating will be completely wrecked. Baal calls Kratos from behind and tells him that Saruthal is strong, so he wants to help too. Kratos tells him to just carry the potatoes and leave this job to him. At the place where the great heart of the ice spirit is, Saruthal is seen asking the ice spirit to bind and defeat more spirits with its mighty cold. And grant him more troops and power. But he is suddenly kicked into the ground by the demon lord, Kratos. Saruthal asks him how he got there so quickly, and Kratos responds that it's none of his business. He cracks his knuckles and tells Saruthal that it's time to exterminate pests like him. Kratos stands face to face with Saruthal. Saruthal calls Kratos a fool for coming alone, and if he honestly thinks he could defeat him alone. He then begins to transform and tells Kratos that he has not seen his true power. But Kratos, who has played the game before, has already seen it before. In fact, he has seen it 19 times. In the game, while chasing Saruthal, who keeps fleeing through the cliffs, he ends up constantly encountering Saruthal's subordinates, and by the end, he practically wiped out all the cliff mobs. Then Saruthal flees into this room where the heart of the ice spirit lies. It's a terrifying artifact said to be created by the ancient dragon at the cost of its life. A chilling frost that traps dead spirits in the world. Saruthal tries to summon more followers using that power, but the paladin arrives just in time, and the final battle begins. He uses his true ability by then. Kratos stands there waiting for Saruthal to finish his ultimate transformation so he can fight him. Saruthal says that he is strong, which is why he will win this battle. Kratos explains that Saruthal's ultimate is to perfectly copy his opponent's stats and materialize them. This is the endgame. At this point, he has the same stats as his character, which are at their peak. With insane attack power and a nearly broken evasion skill, just one mistake and you're instantly dead. However, the stats he copied are from the current Demon King Kratos, who isn't strong anymore. As Saruthal moves to attack, Kratos uses the system to purchase various stat upgrades. With his current HP of 302, he uses 50 HP to upgrade dexterity from 20% to 30%. When Saruthal, the fake Kratos, attacks, Kratos dodges that attack quite easily to the shock of Saruthal. Kratos quickly counters with a right hook to fake Kratos' stomach. Before fake Kratos can throw a left jab, Kratos uses 50 HP to upgrade physical strength from 20% to 30%. And meets the punch with his own punch. This leaves fake Kratos in pain, to which he asks why Kratos is perfectly fine. Kratos smugly tells him that farming requires a brain too. Fake Kratos decide to use Bloody Strike. But again Kratos uses 100 HP to upgrade magic power and mental strength from 20% to 30% each. They both release Bloody Strike on each other, but fake Kratos becomes shocked when he is outmatched by his opponent and shocked. This final attack completely undoes the transformation and Saruthal melts to the ground before Kratos. The system informs Kratos that he has used HP to upgrade all his stats by one tier. Stamina is 30%, mental strength is 30%, physical strength is 30%, dexterity is 30%, and magic power is 30%. Kratos is stunned to see this, and the system continues to inform him that the growth quest, level up all stats, has been achieved. As a reward, the new skill, Summon Farmer's Throne, is unlocked, and can be unlocked as 100 HP. The tune of a farmer king is equipped with a variety of sturdy farming tools. Kratos is pleasantly surprised by this since he actually needed some new gear. The melted Saruthal calls Kratos and asks if he thinks it is over yet. Nope, there is always a phase 2 in the second half of a fight, Kratos says to Saruthal. Saruthal transforms into his origin. The form of the ancient evil dragon. Kratos says seeing this form in person actually looks insane, the attack power and HP pool are no joke. Well, he is the boss of the final area before the last boss after all. But you know what, Kratos smiles at Saruthal, and then Ball kicks down the door of the room. Kratos with his whole squad behind him, tells Saruthal that, he just came from the final boss zone himself. So what now? Saruthal becomes scared after seeing the angry faces of the farmer guards and asks if they are talking about this first. Everyone gangs up on Saruthal to harvest him too. The farmer guard strikes Saruthal with farming tools, and they question him on why he dares to interfere with their farming. The poor guy pleads for mercy falls on deaf ears. Kratos thinks he could probably beat him if he fought him head-on, but it talks and moves, it kinda doesn't feel right to kill it myself but maybe everyone's still too hungry to fight. They've been beating it up for a while, and he still won't die. Kratos decides to beat him more efficiently, so he uses 100 HP to summon the farmer's throne, leaving him with 2 HP. The sky opens up on the cliff of the dead. And the throne of the farmer descends straight from the heavens. The throne was summoned directly above Saruthal and seconds later, it crashed down on him. Kratos is stunned by this. Everyone else is also stunned to see the throne land on Saruthal. But they all begin to celebrate the demon lord's ruthlessness. One says, as expected of the demon lord. He didn't just let him die, he had to finish him off with a final blow, too. Another demon calls him, a true villain. They praise the demon lord for being a brutal savage. Kratos just stared at them silently, but some seconds later, he is like, fuck it, and shouts to celebrate with the farmer guards. Back on the field, lightning rod number 2 begins to ascend since his master died tragically. Now all the fields are plowed, the potato sprouts have emerged, and Kratos has gotten rid of all the pests threatening the harvest. Now then, it's time to plant the potatoes. The ice spirit crystal suddenly starts shaking. Kratos turns to look at it. The system informs him that, the mission, defeat Saruthal on the cliff of the dead, 20 attempts completed. Kratos wonders if he resumed from his 19 tries in the game. The system tells him that as a reward, a hidden event has been triggered. A sealed origin trapped within the heart of the ice spirit has awakened from misuse. The heart begins to slowly open and Kratos approaches it to check it out. A baby blue dragon pops out of it. Kratos is confused for a moment. Both he and the dragon stare at each other and the dragon says, T-bone. As Kratos gets close to the dragon wonders if Kratos is his daddy. Kratos moves his arms to pick up the dragon, who seems to be happy by that. The dragon explains that it hatched from its egg, and it was dark all around him, he was so scared, but now his daddy finally found him. Kratos with his signature look, calls the dragon cute. The dragon instantly becomes terrified. Kratos and his subordinates leave the cliff of the dead and make their way back to the land of death. The farmer guards are excited to eat the baby dragon, but Kratos shuts down that idea by telling them that they will have to raise it first to get more out of it. The baby dragon starts to shed tears upon realizing that his precious daddy is planning to eat him. After some time, they get to the land of death and the rest of the villagers welcome them back. Flute, the little girl welcomes her father and other people welcome their relatives. The baby dragon can feel a warm energy from everyone there. And just as he thinks the demons are not scary at all, it looks at Kratos, making another scary face, and takes back its words. In the demon lord's castle, the baby dragon is trampling in fear in one corner of the room. It turns to find Kratos, looking as charming as ever. The dragon thinks that they are just waiting for him to grow up, so they can have a feast with him as the main course. But contrary to the dragon's beliefs, despite Kratos's charming looks, he is actually a caring daddy and he is just thinking about what to feed the baby. He heard baby dragons eat refined gemstones. But there's not a single jewel here. Only heaps of rusty old metal. Zeph comes to report to the demon lord, and as expected they're facing difficulties building the ridges. Kratos is not at all surprised by this. To plant crops properly, one needs to build ridges. Or mounded earth along the boundaries of fields or paddies. Naturally, this requires pure soil only. But this land is full of rocks. The farmers struggle to use pickaxe and digging is impossible since more rocks keep popping up. The baby dragon thinks they are all just slaves and very soon he will be worked to death like the rest of them. Kratos thinks that this isn't a field but rather feels more like a coal mine. At this rate, it'll take forever just to clear the rocks, and if they keep using this much manpower every day, they'll run out of the chunos they prepared as rewards quickly. Even if they get reinforcements from the other lords, this problem won't go away. If only he could be like the main character of some other comic that can summon a familiar or something. Like a wombat that clears rocks or whatever. That'd be nice. Kratos sees the little girl working hard. The little girl is seriously determined to farm. Kratos then looks away and decides to stop whining. He has to find a way to fix this somehow. That's what a never-ending series of unpredictable problems is. Before he could finish his sentence, someone yells that razor winds are coming. Kratos is alarmed by this. He looks up and sees a tornado heading towards them. As it approaches, it turns out Kratos had forgotten about that. This vast wasteland sometimes spawns razor wind events at random. If one gets caught in it, they will be shredded to pieces in an instant. Kratos commands everyone to take cover and hide behind the rocks. They should quickly get under something that creates shade. They should get down and go as low as they can. As Kratos rushes to take shelter, he thinks that, even from this far away, the wind pressure is already insane. What he felt in the game was nothing compared to this. Natural disaster. In fact, this is the biggest threat to farming. As everyone is rushing to take shelter, the little girl is running towards the razor wind. Kratos notices her and turns to see where she's going. The girl runs towards Azurat, and as her father tries to go after the little brat, Kratos hands the baby dragon to the man and runs to go and save the brat. He tells the man to protect the baby dragon and warns that he will kill anyone who follows him. Baal tells Kratos that, it's too dangerous out there, if he goes in there, he could die. Kratos already knows that, but he can't afford to lose his precious lightning rod or laborer. Farming isn't some laid-back, therapeutic activity where one can just chill and pick apples and pears. Azurat yells at the brat to get away from here because she can't move the rod. Kratos comes to the rescue as the tornado approaches the brat and Azurat. He tells the brat to get out of the way, but before she can move, Kratos kicks down the rod and Azurat comes rushing down face first next to the brat. The wind begins to cut Kratos and the brat, who is trying to unbind Azurat. Azurat tells the brat that binding knot is something even one of the 4 heavenly kings can't undo. She will never be able to untie that, so she should just get out of here already. Kratos picks up the brat and his lightning rod together. The baby dragon can feel Kratos's strength and knows is not that sturdy. Kratos yells out in pain and begins to run to safety. The baby dragon is impressed that, despite Kratos's weak strength, he still goes that far to help people. As Kratos runs to safety, the strong wind manages to bring him down to his knees. He falls and drops the lightning rod. The baby dragon then moves into action by freeing itself from the brat's father because he wants to save his daddy, who is a kind creature in his eyes now. The baby dragon flies towards the tornado, takes a deep breath, and releases an icy breath towards the tornado to save Kratos. Kratos realizes that the razor winds have weakened, and he wonders if the baby dragon used cold energy to weaken the upward drafts, as the baby dragon continues to release cold energy, Kratos thinks this is too much for him and then he passes out. Sometime later, as the winds get weaker, Zeph, the brat's father, and Baal go in to rescue Kratos and the rest.
After some time had passed, back in the Demon Lord's castle, Kratos was lying on his bed. Two people approached the Demon Lord's room. The two people turn out to be Hartok and Sergei. Hartok decides that, while the Demon Lord, Kratos, is down right now, he will cut off his head, and then Sergei will take out those idiots, Baal and Azurat. After that, one of them will become the new Demon Lord. So until then, they will be allies. They open the door to Kratos' room, and they head to his bedside, ready to assassinate Kratos. As they raise their hands ready to strike, they are completely horrified by what they see. Kratos, the almighty Demon Lord, looks like he came straight out of a horror movie. The two became terrified. They think Kratos was waiting for them with both eyes wide open. But since this is their only chance, they muster up the courage to attack. Before the attack lands, someone asks them, "What do you think you are doing?" Baal and Azurat appear next to the entrance to Kratos' room. Baal tells them that the Demon Lord is sleeping, so they should not disturb him. Hartok and Sergei wonder if that is supposed to be the face of a sleeping person. No wonder he's the Demon Lord. Baal then warned the two that, if they woke Kratos up, he wouldn't let them off. Hartok says to Azurat that he gets the dumb muscle head acting like this, but he never expected him to be siding with the Demon Lord who wants them to become farmers. Azurat explains that that is not the case. He owes his life to the Demon Lord for saving him earlier. He is just paying back that one debt. Next time, he'll be on their side instead. Hartok calls them stupid for not realizing that. Just planting potatoes has brought them a ton of problems. The crops will fail, and they will all starve to death. Is that so beyond them? Azurat recalls the time when he saw the little girl, Flute, working so hard that even her palms were sore. He confidently declares that to not starve, you have to put your life on the line. Honestly, he would prefer to risk his life fighting, but this is also not bad. Hartok and Sergei become annoyed by this, and Hartok tells them that they will regret this decision later. Both he and Sergei exit the Demon Lord's room. Kratos finally wakes up, and upon seeing Azurat, he calls him the smug bastard who thinks he is about to be praised by Kratos, tells him he was not siding with Kratos, he was just repaying his debt this time. Without letting him finish, Kratos asks why the hell is his living lightning rod walking around talking like it's normal. Azurat is so shocked by Kratos' ruthlessness, without wasting any moment. Another bloody strike is released onto him by Kratos. He was once again stripped and carried back to the fields. Kratos tells Baal to mobilize everyone and continue clearing the rubble since they don't have time to waste, and Baal tells him the rocks are almost all gone. Zeph is stacking them right now as they speak. Kratos is honestly surprised to know this. As they get to the farmland, he sees everyone working diligently. He calls Zeph and asks where he put all the rocks, and Zeph points at the baby dragon in the distance. The baby dragon seems to be shoving smaller rocks down its mouth and eating them. It thinks it was too small to block the razor winds the last time, but it will eat everything without being picky so that it can grow up faster. Kratos comes and calls to the baby dragon, and it quickly rushes to its dad's arms. Kratos knows that razor winds don't come often. It takes time for them to build up. If the baby dragon, T-Bone, keeps watch from the sky and fires cold air at the right time, they can stop the razor winds in advance. It's a pain, but here, without any weather forecasts, they basically have no choice. The fields are almost ready, so now it's time to take care of the potatoes. Zeph tells Kratos that the reward stockpile of Chino is running out. Should they make more? Kratos tells him there's no need. Kratos thinks that the first enemy of farming is natural disaster, and the second is costs. Their walls they'll have to overcome. At the castle, inside Sergei's room, she takes off her helmet, and oh my god, she is an absolute beauty. It looks like we have found the first waifu of the story. She notices that the manure stench has still not gone away, even though she hasn't been to the field in days. Kratos suddenly knocks on her door and asks to speak with her. Sergei is confused since Kratos has never come to her room before. She says that she has nothing to say to him, but Kratos pleads for her to open the door cause he really needs her help. She then tells him to avoid saying anything misleading But Kratos still insists and says not seeing each other's faces is how misunderstandings arise. She tells him to go away, but he still insists on coming in. When Sergei turns to tell him off, she gets the shit scared out of her, and Kratos is literally coming into her room by passing through the closed door. Kratos walks towards Sergei, who is questioning him on why he barged into a lady's room without permission. Kratos goes down on one knee and proposes to her. No, I'm just kidding. She is confused by his action, and Kratos says to her that without her, he can't do anything. She becomes stunned for a moment, but then she starts to blush. Kratos thinks, for as long as he can save costs, he will kneel all she wants. 'Cause right now, he needs her sharp and precise blade. She starts twisting her hair like a girl in love and tells him that she will at least listen to what he wants to say. Kratos honestly thinks this situation got weird fast. Has she completely lost it? This is ridiculous. Later they head to the barn where the potatoes are, and Kratos is ruthless as ever tells her to cut up the potatoes for him. They have to cut them in half to plant them. Sergei is dumbfounded for a moment before she realizes that she has been played by this son of a bitch. He explains to her that the work is simple. Don't cut the ones with 3 or fewer sprouts, but if it's over 4, cut it. Also, make sure the number of sprouts is evenly distributed on both sides when cutting. All right, it's really easy. Here comes the potato. Sergei angrily screams out that she never said she would do it. But Kratos ignores her and throws the potato sprout at her. She gets into a stance and immediately starts slicing and dicing the potato sprout into pieces. Kratos is amazed by her ability. He wonders how she cuts so accurately. He turns to her and happily says, "You are the only one that can do this." Sergei starts blushing before she angrily says to him, "You liar, villain, swindler." Kratos gets close to her, and she becomes scared again. He holds her hand, and she blushes again and wonders what's going on. Kratos takes out his handkerchief and starts cleaning her blade until it is sparkling clean. She wonders what he's doing right now. Kratos tells her that the potato juice got on her blade, so he decided to wipe it off. Sergei thinks he might be crazy. Why is he acting like this? And what is with those eyes of his? They're so sincere, warm, and deep. While this girl thinks that this is the most romantic thing anyone has ever done for her, Kratos, on the other hand, just sees her as a useful slicing machine. He thinks that if he doesn't clean the blade well, disease will spread through the potatoes, so he has to clean it thoroughly and sincerely. He faces her and tells her that she is the only one that can do this. He thinks a demon who can cut these potatoes and is helping him save Chuno is very useful. Sergei, who's blushing, tells him that she will help him just this once. She thinks that she will help him just this once because he just can't do anything without her. What a silly demon lord. Kratos tells her that he will go bring boiling water and cloth too. They will be cutting them all night together. Sergei thinks Kratos is way too excited for the upcoming event. What a fool. They continue to cut up the potatoes. Hartok watches the two lovebirds working together diligently. Kratos cheers on Sergei as she continues to work. Hartok becomes furious and thinks Sergei has become one of the dumb inferior ones too, volunteering for servitude just after a few compliments. The scene changes, and the living lightning rod, Azurat, starts to have another existential crisis again about the true meaning of life and if a life of suffering is truly worth living. The little girl, Flute, comes to him again and tells him that the elders have saved up some Chuno for him, so they should play some Chuno throwing game. Azurat tries to tell the little brat that he, the great demon general, will not play such a game with a low demon like her, and will eat her alive when he comes down. Before he could finish speaking, the little brat throws food at him. He gets mad at her for not throwing it right into his mouth. He tells her he will kill her if she doesn't throw it well. As the two are having fun, Hartok watches them silently and thinks that Azurat is completely out of commission after being beaten like a fool and is now a total wreck. Hartok gets distracted as Kratos comes to the farm and tells the farmer corps to plant the potatoes in their field. Hartok thinks Ball was dumb from the start, so Hartok had no expectations from him, and everyone's intelligence is below average. The farmers thank Lady Sergei for cutting down the potatoes for them. She shyly tells them to shut up and that she didn't do it for their sake. Hartok thinks that there's something wrong with her She's one of the great demon generals, and she is making that dopey face. He thinks all the demons should be ashamed for crying over potato seeds. He gets angry at all these idiots and vows that Hartok, the intellect of the demon world, will steal the demon lord's throne. Kratos instructs the farmers to keep planting while they listen. The potato sprout will soon grow and poke above the soil, and they will begin thinning the buds. Ball tells him he is good at cutting things up, but Kratos tells him to shut up. He explains each seed potato can have as few as 3 sprouts and as many as 5 sprouts. He then asks a question, which is better, fewer or more sprouts? Everybody yells more is better. He tells them that they are all wrong and that few is better. Hartok, who's standing nearby, thinks they are all pathetic. Why are they studying these kinds of stuff? 2 demons beside him ask each other that isn't more better than a few. He gets angry at them and calls them inferior morons. He tells them that they should think about a little. If there are too many sprouts, they'll steal nutrients from each other, and the potatoes that they will eat will get fewer nutrients. Kratos, who hears him, is shocked, as he got it accurately, and asks Hartok if he has farmed before. Hartok tells him it's just common sense that sprouts and potatoes share nutrients. Isn't that obvious? The stunned Kratos asks, so how many sprouts will be ideal? Hartok reluctantly answers that too is the obvious answer. If they think only of nutrient loss, they might assume 1 is ideal, but if that 1 breaks, the root dies as well. Kratos asks Hartok, after the bud thinning there is a lot to do, what does he think that is? Hartok explains that they have created artificially healthy soil, tilted the soil, and improved the compose. That kind of soil will not benefit just the potatoes. Unwanted weeds will grow as well, stealing nutrients, and they would have to uproot that. They could have gotten that with a little thinking. Kratos and the demon generals are shocked. Kratos calls for a round of applause for Hartok, the true genius of the demons. The demons begin to applaud and chant out genius, genius. Hartok, who is frustrated by this, at first reflects on his own life. His mom called him dumb. He starts to cry and wonders why he is crying like an idiot. Kratos walks towards him and calls him, "O you wise and intelligent mind of demons. From today onwards, you'll lead the farm corp as the chief leader." Hartok thinks the idea is dumb, as his intellect is just to kill and steal. Kratos shouts at the demons to show some respect to the elite of the demons, and everyone begins to chant elite at Hartok. Hartok looked like he was mad at the dumb and inferior demon idiots, but he switched up and told them to just follow him properly from now on. He decides that he'll just lead for a bit. And just like that, Kratos managed to trick another demon general into becoming a farmer. The demons rejoice at the fact that Hartok is going to help them now. The system informs Kratos that he has achieved victory in 4 psychological battles. Kratos is confused for a moment, so the system explains that he saw through Baal's neglected heart and turned him into a loyal subordinate. Even Kratos is shocked that he did that. He gave the friendless Azurad a friend and reduced his violence. He melted the heart of Sergei, who had never once been loved. Kratos thinks that is good for her, even though he doesn't know what that has to do with him. Finally, he instilled confidence in Hartok, who has only wanted recognition. Kratos wonders why they all have such fragile hearts. He has earned 200 happy points, and he may now unlock a new skill called the Blood Eye. Kratos thinks this Blood Eye skill was not part of the game, just like the Farmer's Throne. The system explains that the skill has the ability to see a short glimpse of the future of the target. He is observing currently. He can see up to 6 hours ahead. Kratos thinks that the target he is observing can be a living creature or an object. His eyes brighten up when the system informs him that he can observe even the sky. He grins as he realizes that he has the weather forecast. Somewhere between the forsaken lands of the demon race and the human territory, there's a village of the exiled. We see Lloyd and Javier's clones. Lord Rivage tells Dial that he has fully recovered now, and Dial is relieved to hear that. Rivage thanks Dial for taking good care of him. He wishes to be born with a sturdier body in his next life, and Dial wants to become rich and a noble with money who can boss people around. While looking at the story of the greatest real estate developer, it seems they both got their wishes. Back to the story, Rivage laughs and tells Diol that he guesses it's a dream he won't be able to fulfill even in the next life. He then turns to inform aged Kimchi that they plan on returning to the kingdom now. Does he plan on going with them? Kimchi just says he is honestly not sure. As he mentioned before, he doesn't even remember who he is. He didn't live among the humans either, so he was no family. Even when he first came to this village, the villagers didn't exactly welcome him. He wonders if anyone would accept someone like him. The two look at him silently, and Rivage suggests he wear different clothes. They find a cloth to cover him while they are leaving because they think he still refuses to take off his hideous outfit. Maybe it's a garment he is really attached to, they think. But aged Kimchi knows that the clothes are not normal because even though he wants to take them off, they won't come off. It's like they're a part of his body. Rivage thanks the village chief for their kindness. He knows living in such a place, simply for being descendants of exiles, is too cruel. He promises that when he returns to the king, he will surely tell him about their story. Kimchi thinks that, for a noble who came by royal order to scout near demon territory, he has no unnecessary pride and is respectful and decent. He wonders what kind of person was he. He remembers part of his past, where he ruthlessly slayed demons just because of the call of duty, simply repeating slaughter over and over again. Someone like him, what else can he do besides killing? In the demon realm, the workers are surprised because some of the plants have sprouted. They become excited because of this. Even Ball and Sergi get excited seeing this. Flute ever goes to inform Lord Azurat about this, and he yells at her, as usual. Kratos arrives with the baby dragon and Hartok and tells the workers to move to the next phase, earthing up. He calls the genius chief, Cultivator Hartok, to explain it to them. Hartok quickly explains that earthing up means covering the stem of the sprout slightly with soil. It's to prevent the young potatoes from being exposed to sunlight. If they are exposed to sunlight, they will change color, lose flavor, or even become toxic. You could call this potato darkening. Kratos tells everyone to give Hartok applause. He then looks up to check the weather forecast. He invested 200 happy points into the weather, forecast ability, and Bloody Eyes gets enhanced. The activation condition is to stare without blinking for 20 seconds. As he is staring, he realizes just how exhausting it is and starts crying. The workers just assume he is crying because he's happy the sprouts are growing too. The system informs him that he is using the skill Bloody Eyes to foresee the sky's future. Over the next 6 hours, it will mostly be sunny and dry. You might want to bring out the humidifier. Kratos gets happy and tells the baby dragon to rest up since there will be no razor winds today. Zeph calls Kratos to give an urgent report. Apparently a subordinate of the second star master, Planus, has arrived. In the castle, Laploa, a loyal retainer of the second star master Planus, greets the demon lord. The tree fella explains that, right after they received the ceasefire order and the farming message, third star master, Ruster, launched a full assault on them. He said, the demon lord has weakened, so he shall be the new demon lord. Kratos thinks that all these damn demon bastards are all the same. Zeph tells him that if Ruster subjugates the second star master and they join forces, they wouldn't be able to hold them off easily. Kratos knows that while their levels might be lower, there be too many of them. Then they must go before the second star master fully falls and defeat the other star master quickly. But they can't leave the farming work abandoned for too long. The region under attack by the third star master is the bottomless abyss of the dead, also known as the Swamp of Decay. Compared to the game map, it's about 10 times bigger in reality and ridiculously far. The abandoned well, which handles power-ups and warps in the game, could have helped, but even the well beneath the Demon Lord's castle isn't functioning. How can they balance both farming and fighting? But then he realizes, why is he worrying about this too much? He's the freaking Demon Lord. The final boss doesn't personally go out anyway. He calls Sergi and Ball, who agree to go and deal with the situation. Immediately, 2 of the loyal 4 heavenly demon generals head out to battle with the troops. Some strong but low IQ demons, which make them useless for farming, will go with them. Since they're coming from the boss area, the shortcut system is fully connected, and there's a quick route that leads straight to the Swamp of Decay. Credo stays behind with Hartak and focuses entirely on raising potatoes. All will be well. At the Swamp of Decay, Planus knees before Ruster, defeated. He calls him a scoundrel and asks how he dares to defy the Demon Lord's command and commit treason. Third Star Master, Ruster approaches Second Star Master, Planus, who will be known as I Am Groot in coming chapters, and tells him he rebelled because the Demon Lord left him with no other choice. Stopping the war now would only lead the demon race to ruin. Planus tries to argue that the Lord said he could make the land fertile and they wouldn't need to wage war on humans to feed themselves anymore. That is exactly the problem Ruster has with the plan, because he believes fighting bravely is the pride of their demon race, their history. But before he can strike Planus with his weapon is knocked out of his hand by an axe. He turns around, only to see Ball and Sergi angrily walking towards him. Sergi asks if he is Ruster, and she tells him that they're a race that fights. They love fighting and enjoy killing, but when did they become like this? Why did things turn out like this? Flute runs home to call her dad to come to the field quickly. Sergi continues to explain to Ruster that finally now they understand that saving lives, rather than taking them, can give them even greater pride. In the fields, the land of death, while used to be a barren land, is finally filled with flowers and grass. Everyone around becomes extremely emotional, even Azurat. Flute runs to the Demon Lord and excitedly tells him that she has never seen anything like this before. And Credo smiles. Sergi charges at Ruster and begins to attack him. But before he can defend himself, Ball gets him in a headlock, and the poor fella just becomes a punching bag for Sergi. Credos tells Flute that, yes, all the flowers have bloomed. Back to the battle, Ruster asks Sergi that, didn't she say that she wouldn't kill anyone and that from now on, they just need to save lives, so why are her words and actions not matching? She understands what he means, but tells him that there are some things that need to be killed to save others. Honestly, she is not making sense to him at all. In the fields, the Demon Lord orders for all the useless flowers to be cut off now. Everyone becomes speechless, and even Azurat gets angry at him for being ruthless. Hartak is not surprised by his ruthlessness, since he is a Demon Lord after all. Hartak gives the order to pick all the flowers hastily, and Azurat thinks these two are fucking lunatics. The workers become sad while they're picking out the flowers. One worker complains that they can't do it. They raise these, never before has something so beautiful for bloomed on this land. Hartak questions him. Can't he tell at a glance that if they leave it alone, all the nutrients gathered from the sunlight will be spent on forming flowers and seeds? This is part of the Demon Lord's grand plan to direct the energy towards the potato's growth. So to their regret, they pluck out the flowers. But Credos, on the other hand, is so happy that you can even hear the word potato echoing from there. No one is even surprised. He enjoys that destruction. Later, Sergi and Ball capture Ruster and present him in front of the Demon Lord. Credos tells the captured demon that that's what he gets for staging a rebellion. The first star fortress has already fallen. What does he think he can do now? Ruster thinks a demon who has lost the pride of battle might as well be dead, so Credos should just kill him. Credos agrees and immediately strikes him with Bloody Strike, his favorite skill. Ruster then begins to mock Credos for his weak-ass attack, saying it only stings a little because his body is armored. Credos is embarrassed for barely damaging him. Does the only logical thing he can think of, he hangs Ruster on a stick and makes him a third-generation lightning rod. Well, if you can't beat him, you might as well hang him. Another Bloody Strike was released. Ruster, at his point, just rather die than be humiliated like this. Due to there being a new and durable lightning rod, Credos asked for Azurat to be retired as a lightning rod since he's been losing his recovery capacity lately. Honestly, Azurat can't believe he is being released. As soon as he is released, Flute runs to see him. He gets excited to see her since she has been mocking him for so long. Now he will devour her as promised. The girl gets scared, but before he can pounce on her, his legs give out and he slams to the ground hard. It's been too long since he last walked on land, so it will take some time before he can walk again. Ball comes to Azurat to mock him, and he gets mad. Ball, Princess carry him. He gets embarrassed and tells Ball to stop, so Ball puts him on his back and carries him like a baby instead. Honestly, the first one was less embarrassing than this. Ball explains that, since it's the Demon Lord's order, he will stay like this for a while. Azurat promises to not forget this disgrace. Kratos already knew Azurat wouldn't rampage again after he was released since he used the Blood Eye skill, and saw he would be paralyzed for at least 6 hours. He shouts at the workers to speed up cause harvest time is near. With Sergei's ultra-fast weed cutter, the flowers are wiped out in an instant. And Hartok's awakening finisher makes watering a breeze. Autumn isn't far off, and the rations they've been giving out as labor wages are decreasing rapidly. Even though demons are used to starving and surviving on little, you can see that they're getting tired. Someone calls Kratos, and Kratos asks if he is the second star master, Planus. Planus expresses extreme gratitude to Kratos for saving him. Kratos is confused and angry as to why someone here to express his sincere gratitude came empty-handed. What a bastard. Shouldn't he at least bring a box of drinks or some red ginseng? Bro, calm down. This is a fantasy world. There are no drinks or red ginseng. Planus promises to dispatch the third Star Master subordinates. He is gathering as workers shortly. Kratos knows that the potatoes are growing well, and he wants to harvest and make lots of chino, because he wants to see the demons eat until they're full. That is a death flag right there. Come to think of it, he wonders why he started farming in the first place. Planus asks to be excused so he can gather troops for Kratos. Kratos agrees and lets him go. Planus in the game was one of the weakest and least developed bosses. He worshipped power as truth and showed intense loyalty to Kratos. Kratos wonders if he can help with the farming since he's a plant. Bro, letting this bastard out of your sight could cost you. Planus notices that the soil is so fertile. It's filled with nutrients he has never once felt in the swamp of decay. Back when he was just a sapling, there was never any nutrition in the soil he grew in. But in this land, on the land cultivated by Demon Lord Kratos, he sticks to the land and penetrates the soil with his roots. He goes in deeper, cause he can become stronger if he absorbs the nutrients in the soil. He can finally become the Demon Lord. I knew this I am Groot lookalike was bad news. In the morning, Kratos conducting a demon morning exercise. I fail to see what exercising like this has to do with farming. Even the baby dragon is doing this exercise. But since these demons are not used to exercises like this, they were a mess at first, but now they're moving precisely according to his commands, and as expected of demons' physical potential, they catch on quick. Even when he is giving a surprise signal like rolling left and rolling right, they quickly do it. For tough farm work, basic stamina is essential, which is why exercises are necessary. Ball suddenly runs to Kratos to report some bad news. Apparently, all the potato leaves have turned yellow. Kratos is shocked to hear this. On the farm, the potato leaves seem to be withering away. Zeph knew farming on this land was impossible after all. Sergei becomes sad and Hartok wonders what happened, cause there was enough wind and water. He wonders if he had hoped this would work. Kratos comes, and Zeph asks him what the heck is happening. Kratos ignores him and goes to uproot the plant, only to see that it has bare potatoes. Hartok at this point is confused. Even though the color is pale, he wouldn't deny that they are huge, even twice the size of the first potatoes they planted. Kratos wonders if the potatoes have truly awakened. They've absorbed all the nutrients from the leaves as they grew, all to become bigger and tastier. He congratulates everyone on their hard work. They should be proud for raising these. Hartok, Sergei, Zeph, Ball, and even Azurat get emotional. In the castle, Kratos is lying on his bed, recalling his previous life again. He raised some tomatoes, and his grandmother praised him for how nice the tomatoes were growing. He also recalls that night, when she was taken away in the ambulance, and he cried seeing her like that. In the present, he knows it is all pointless. A thoroughly calculating person like himself doesn't feel stuff like that anymore. Soon they'll have plenty of potatoes to eat. But they can't let their guard down. If they cling only to potatoes, they could all starve to death in an instant if a potato blight hits like the Irish Great Famine. Potatoes can solve the immediate food issue, but they need to quickly secure other crop seeds. Suddenly, Kratos feels the building trampling violently, and he wonders if it's a faulty construction. The ground begins to crumble before he can do anything. A huge root destroys the place. Although Kratos is safe, he is extremely angry at what is happening. In the fields, Flute notices that the leaves are withering away into the winds. She remembers the demon lord saying that when potatoes grow, their leaves naturally die off. But even the little girl can see that something isn't right. There is something definitely wrong. She starts to cry for their potatoes, and she runs to go get the adults only to witness the castle being under attack. Kratos gets captured by low-budget I Am Groot, who laughs and calls Kratos a cockroach. I Am Groot thanks Kratos for the fertile land and nutrients he created. Because of it, he was able to get stronger. Kratos is shocked when he finally realizes that I Am Groot has sucked out all the essence from the land, leaving none for the potatoes. He gets furious at I Am Groot for messing with their food. I Am Groot knows Kratos is angry, but now, what can a cockroach like him do? He slams Kratos to the ground, making him cough out blood. Hartok tells all the demons to escape there because of the destruction I Am Groot is causing. The muscle head, Ball, refuses to escape. Instead, he wants to go and save Kratos. The other two generals try to stop him since they believe the demon lord will not be taken down. But Ball knows the real truth, that Kratos is weak. He realized it when he was saved by Kratos at the cliff. I Am Groot becomes as big as the Power Rangers Megazord. Kratos is left to fall down to his doom by I Am Groot. The four demon generals and Zeph all stare at I Am Groot. Zeph is surprised that Planus, aka I Am Groot, has become as big as a Megazord. I Am Groot tells the demonkind that Kratos, their demon lord, is dead. The entire place is silent. Everyone is in disbelief. I Am Groot continues. According to the ancient rule of the demon race, power comes from strength. So from this moment on, he is the new demon lord. They should all kneel before him, the most powerful demon there. Hartok can sense that I Am Groot has absorbed all the nutrients in the land. And with Kratos dead, the strongest being in the land is indeed I Am Groot. And demons always follow the power of overwhelming strength. Hartok kneels. Sergei also kneels down. All the four generals kneel down and offer their respects to the new demon lord of the land. Zeph honestly wanted to resist, but Azurat tells him to behave properly in front of the demon lord. Zeph grits his teeth before finally kneeling to show respect to I Am Groot. I Am Groot just stares down at them like they are a bunch of ants. Zeph sheds a tear because bro honestly doesn't like this one bit. Kratos starts to recall memories from when he was Jangchiol. Kratos finds himself in the middle of a playground. A woman seems to be his mother, who asks his young self if he wants to play a game of hide and seek with her. And he excitedly agrees. This is a painful thing for him, since it is the day his mom turned into the best hide-and-seek player in the world. She tells him to close his eyes tight and count from 1 to 10, then come find her. Honestly, the mom herself looked kinda sickly and malnourished. His younger self starts to count the numbers, and when he is done, just like Houdini, she was gone. Kratos watches on as his younger self searches for his mom. The kid counts to 10 again, but in the end, she was gone for good. Alone and scared, the kid cries for his mom. How the hell is the playground empty like that? Not even another kid or parent in sight. It is not even nighttime yet. Kratos is brought to the brink of tears as the kid's cries echo in his mind. The system appears from nowhere, calls his name, and tells him to stop being a bitch. Kratos wakes up bleeding and trapped underground. He wonders what is going on. He asks the system if he is dead yet, and it tells him to move or else he might die. He tries to use quantum leap move, but he can't move. There is no space to even turn his body. His hands can't move, even a little to dig his way out. But he still tries to. He counts from 1 to 10 continuously, but nothing happens as he just lies there defeated. Back on the surface, Demon Lord I Am Groot calls for Zeph, who quickly responds. He is told to record this historic first step with great care. From now on, the demons will invade the human lands. They will rule all humans and raise them as livestock for food. Hartok is seriously pissed off that, after all, that they are back to square one. Azurat thinks maybe it could be fun. They get to kill and fight to their heart's content. Because that is how the demons always lived, as long as it filled their stomachs. But still, all four generals were disgusted by the idea. Kratos is still counting and trying to survive. He is also losing oxygen there. I am Groot tells the demons to take up their weapons and march to war. Zeph addresses the new demon lord and states that the march is impossible. I am Groot, and the generals are surprised by his audacity. But Zeph explains that, right now, the only food the demon race has is a few small potatoes, which is not enough as provisions for war. I am Groot asks if Zeph was always an idiot cause they already have plenty of provisions. Arut moves and grabs Flute, who is not expecting that. Her dad tries to stop it though, and Azurat becomes alert. I am Groot says weak and useless demons can all be considered food. Flute tries to explain that they are not like that anymore. They do not need to eat each other to survive, because the demon lord made it that way for them. I am Groot looks at his food before dropping it. In the underground, where Kratos is, he realizes that his heart is stopping. If he dies, the demons will go hungry. Nearing his death, he uses Bloody Strike to try and resuscitate himself. And a couple of volts run through his entire body due to the excess bleeding he has. He just can't stand to see any demon starve again. He regains some strength and tries to crawl out again. But this time, he is actually moving. This man is truly relentless. On the surface, I am Groot's eyes widen when he saw that Azurat had saved the little girl. Kratos starts to lose consciousness, and he uses Bloody Strike to stay awake. Even him starting to feel bad for the guy now. This is just too hard for him to do. He starts to wonder just how much further he has to go. He is even going the right way. Bro starts to doubt himself. Is he even doing something that has the slightest possibility of working? At this point, Bro is just hopeless. Back at the surface, I'm getting tired of all this surface and underground back and forth. Hartok, Sergei, and Ball are all shocked that Azurat, that heartless bastard, was the one to save the little girl. Flute, with tears welling up in her eyes, is even shocked that Azurat saved her. I am Groot is furious at Azurat for his actions. The fool finally realizes what he has done and starts to panic. Turns out he had acted without thinking earlier. He starts to explain to I am Groot that the little girl was his personal food supply and pretends to munch on the girl. He has been eyeing this little girl for a while and was just saving her to eat while she's still fresh. But his lie was quickly seen through by the demon lord, and he whips Azurat with one of his roots, knocking him past Zeph and the other generals. KO, he is knocked out instantly. All this makes everyone nervous. I am Groot declares one more time for everyone to prepare for war. But Zeph finally grows 2 pairs of nice balls and tells I am Groot to go fuck himself cause there is no valid reason for war right now. I am Groot gets furious and tries to stab Zeph for his rebellion, and Axe comes out of nowhere to stop I am Groot, and guess who? It is none other than Ball, who comes to the rescue. I am Groot is surprised another general rebelled against him. Ball shouts out to the demon lord that Kratos, the previous demon lord, has already assigned Zeph a job to do. If he dies, who is going to count the potato harvest? I am Groot asks if Ball is trying to start a rebellion. Hartok refutes that idea. He and everyone there thinks farming is better than an invasion since it is a more reasonable plan to follow. Sergei then asks a question that Kratos proposed a path where no one had to die. So why must they go to war when there is another way? I am Groot finally loses it, cause he doesn't get why they are all refusing to obey when he has the authority as the demon lord. He is authority itself, and these damn vermin are disobeying him. Hartok takes a fighting stance and tells I am Groot that authority must be justified. Everyone gets ready to take on I am Groot together. Their true demon lord is Kratos. I am Groot will surely pay for the potato field he destroyed. I am Groot gets into action and attacks everyone, But Hartok rebels his strikes with and missed barrier skill, saving everyone. Ball throws Sergei up towards I Am Groot, and she chops up his roots like some vegetables. She heads straight for him, ready to take out his eyes first. But she is swatted away like a fly. Ball gets squeezed like an orange, and Hartok is crushed like a bug. And just like that, the four generals are taken out of the picture. I Am Groot is enraged that they dare to challenge him, Demon Lord. It's over for them. He is going to kill everyone and their mama. He will make them learn through death that he is far greater than that wretched Kratos, the pathetic coward who died without even putting up any resistance. Honestly, what was so great about him? He continues to smash them and asks what makes Kratos so special. As I Am Groot is going for Zeph and the little girl, someone asks him in a dismissive tone why his self-esteem is so low. A punch lands on the root, and yes, you guessed it, our Demon Lord, Kratos, appears to save Zeph and the entire series. His punch is so powerful that it rips the root apart. I Am Groot, Zeph, and the little girl are shocked to see Kratos alive. The system appears to inform him that he has gained a new skill on the brink of death, concentrated nutrition, which has been activated. 10 minutes ago, while he was on the brink of death, he recalled his past life again, when he was with his grandmother, and he was telling her that living is too hard. Why do we have to keep living if it's too hard? I can answer that question. It's cause we don't want to die. You only live once after all. His grandmother looks at him and takes out a seed. She explains to him that every living thing is a seed. Even if it's hard, they have to dig into the soil and sprout. When that sprout appears, it encourages other seeds, and then sprouts begin to emerge all over the place. Then one day, everything will be green. Okay, that is a way better answer than mine. He shouted at her to not say those cheesy things. He thinks he is a rotten seed because his father died just from working all the time, and his mother abandoned him. He vows to succeed all by himself. But sometime later, the old woman was near death's door, and her last words to him were, "We are all seeds." He is encouraged by this memory, and he uses his spell, Bloody Strike Again, to stay alive underground. The system pops up and informs him that he has endured the pain of death and rebirth, and his will and spirit, which have overcome his limits, have unlocked a new system, the Mana Seed system. He knows his system wasn't part of the game as played, but the system informs him that, as a reward for 3 successful resurrections, his Mana Seeds start at level 3. The Mana Seed amplifies all of his stats by a certain multiplier. Mana Seed level 3, amplification rate 1.3 times. He is surprised that all stats increase by 30%, and he can finally get out of this. Mana Seed system's option skill, Concentrated Nutrition, can be activated and concentrates all stats into one. It can be used once a day for 10 minutes. Kratos' eyes widen as he sees that his stats pop up, and he activates the Mana Seed with a flash of light. The Mana Seed activates successfully and increases all his stats from 30% to 39%. He follows that up by activating Concentrated Nutrition into Physical Strength. All the stats start to decrease, with physical strength increasing until stamina is 10%, mental strength is 10%, dexterity is 10%, magic power is 10%, and physical strength is 155%. With his newfound strength, he begins to tunnel his way up to the surface until he finally cracks the surface and pops up from the ground, and that is how he is standing here now. I Am Groot is surprised he even managed to survive the underground. Kratos mocks him for asking such an obvious question. Of course he did. He is standing in front of him now, isn't he? The demons are also shocked to see their favorite demon lord, Kratos. They begin to cheer for his return. The baby dragon happily flies over to give Kratos a hug. Hartok is happy for his return, but they worry that right now, I Am Groot is too powerful and strong for Kratos to handle. I Am Groot declares that, since Kratos has come back from the dead, he can return and take his subordinates with him this time. Kratos chuckles and says, I Am Groot won't be able to kill even a single one of them, cause no matter how overwhelming his size is, he still moves in a fixed game-like pattern. If Kratos just thinks of his attacks as larger versions of what he saw in the game, he can dodge them all. and the farmer corps that trained with him using crazy physical routines are no different. He calls for everyone to get behind him and group up to begin their morning drills. When I Am Groot is about to strike them, they jump left and strike a pose. Another attack, and they jump right. They get down on it to dodge an overhead swing and cock and roll left to dodge several attacks. They move back and jump to escape again. I Am Groot starts to get frustrated that his attacks are not landing. Kratos knows that I Am Groot has a long recovery delay after the next attack. He commands everyone to turn and taunt the big tree. I Am Groot clearly doesn't like that, and so he starts going berserk, which excites Kratos, because he was expecting this. He decides to finish him and sends a baby dragon to go and release frost breath all over I Am Groot's body. Kratos explains that hitting I Am Groot's huge body 100 times won't do anything, but he's still a plan in the end. If they freeze his body at extremely low temperature, his volume will expand and his tissues will rupture. Then he will start to crack and break because the one going berserk with that massive weight will self-destruct under the pressure. I Am Groot is confused as to what the hell is going on with his body. The baby dragon, after causing trouble, returns to Kratos' side. He seems tired, and Kratos congratulates him for a good work done. He then declares that he will take it from here. He crouches down, and then Superman jumps to deliver the final hit. Another weakness of tree monsters is the knot hole. He targets the knot hole and punches with all his strength. And I Am Groot starts to crumble from the impact of Kratos' punch. I Am Groot screams as he crumbles. Zeph is surprised that Kratos was actually able to win, and the system informs him that the time limit for concentrated nutrition has expired. As Kratos is falling to the ground, I Am Groot is also falling to his doom. The light in his eyes suddenly goes out. Is this it? Is it finally over? Zeph wonders if I Am Groot is dead. Kratos thinks something is not right, since in the game, his entire body would have just shattered and disappeared. So why is part of him still here? He gets alert as he sees a root sprouting in front of him. I Am Groot. That resilient tree respawns in front of Kratos. Kratos wonders what the hell is this. He can't even move a muscle, and somehow this tree appears in front of him. I Am Groot, now in a smaller form, stands and stares at everyone, and they wonder how he manages to survive. He explains to them that he absorbed an insane amount of nutrients. Though he nearly died, he managed to concentrate a portion of his strength to create another body. He is a seed that fell into a toxic swamp. He sprouted from a cursed ground. He approaches Kratos, who can't move, and tells him that, now that he's inherited the Demon Lord's power, his mission is clear. It is to flood the world with poison. I Am Groot raises his hand to kill Kratos. Kratos starts recalling his grandmother's words that they are seeds, and while recalling the words, Ball once again attacks I Am Groot's neck with his axe and manages to hit it. But it was not enough, and he gets backhand slapped away. Kratos continues. The other seed, Sergi, with her several hands, strikes the other side of I Am Groot's neck, but also fails to kill him and gets hit away too. Kratos continues. There's seeds that are watching. It's Hartok's turn, and he hits the back of I Am Groot's neck. He is grabbed and slammed to the ground. Kratos continues, and their strength is rising. I Am Groot's neck is dangling from receiving a lot of attacks, and Azurat is standing behind him to deliver the final blow. He shouts for a bountiful harvest and slices I Am Groot's head off cleanly. Kratos looks at I Am Groot's body, and his body starts disintegrating into green energy that scatters into the wind. The Megazord body also disintegrates, and the whole atmosphere is filled with little green glowing energy. And this is the ending of low-budget I Am Groot's villain arc. Kratos is relieved that I Am Groot and got what he deserved. The four generals who came to the rescue are tired. Zeph decides to account for those acts of treason and the victory of the Demon Lord's army. Hartok screams triumphantly, and everyone joins in to cheer for Kratos' victory. As they are rejoicing, Kratos angrily shouts for them to stop it. They may have won the battle, but lost the war in the end. He looks at the dried-up leaves on the ground and thinks that the fields are in a complete mess. He can't believe they have to restart everything. They'll all have to starve again, Looking all dejected, he thinks, how can he ask them to farm again after all the mess? Honestly, he can't do something that cruel. Everyone becomes sad seeing Kratos like that. As Kratos kneels there feeling sorry for himself, one of the green, glowing energy floats around in the air, slowly lands on top of a leaf in front of Kratos, and gets absorbed by the leaf, which starts to regenerate immediately. And that's where the story leaves off for now. I'll be covering weekly recaps as new chapters drop. So if you're enjoying the ride, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow and keeps the journey going strong.